I often get asked about how to prepare for and participate in a solo home retreat. The first advice I give is to come up with a retreat schedule. You can use a retreat schedule from one of my retreats or another schedule if you have it. But I've learned and I've seen from others that the most productive retreats are when one has a schedule that's followed. Part of the reason that we use a schedule is because we don't want to get into moods. We don't want to get into whether I feel like meditating, I don't feel like meditating, I feel like doing this instead, because we're trying to maintain the rigor of a retreat. And we do this by following the schedule and sitting as directed by the schedule. We also want to take the rest periods that are built into the retreat and take time to go for walks or rest, nap, whatever we need to take care of ourselves. You want to stay physically active, so going for walks, doing things like Tai Chi and Qigong can be very productive and useful and supportive for your home retreat. Ideally, you want to have simplified meals. Some people will buy various frozen foods and just microwave those. Others will prepare large amounts of pasta, soups, etc., salads, and then we'll just partake of those. Because you don't want to have a lot of mentalizing, a lot of thinking about what do I want to eat, and then you don't want to get into the personality cravings and desires. You want to keep a menu that's typically fairly simple. You don't want food that's going to be too spicy or disruptive for your body. If you're somebody who's sensitive to, say, milk products, you don't want to introduce milk products and have your gastrointestinal system be causing problems on the retreat. So think about foods that are wholesome, that are fairly easy, and are nutritious to you. You want to feel like you're really feeding your body with high-quality fuel. On retreat, you want to also really, really encourage silence. So if you're alone on your home retreat, then that's perfectly fine. You want to turn off all of your electronic devices so you don't have interruptions from any media or any communications. You want to try to minimize your internal talk as well. Some people will listen to Dharma talks. If you follow a self-paced retreat, that can be a great way to have some Dharma talks, some support, some energy from a teacher, while maintaining the integrity of your retreat. A common question I get is, how long should I meditate for? You want to meditate so that it's a bit of a stretch for you. If you comfortably sit for 45 minutes at home, I would recommend starting with an hour, 60-minute sit. It's going to be a stretch for you. It's going to be a little bit challenging at the end of the sitting, more than likely. When we're challenged in this way, it develops the muscle of concentration. Both physically, our bodies get acclimated to sitting for that long, and then psychologically and mentally, we develop the ability, the strength to maintain our practice for that long. I recommend sitting where you're slightly uncomfortable. So if the hour sit becomes comfortable to you, it's not hard. When the bell rings on your timing device, you're almost surprised it rang so quickly. That tells you that you're ready to increase a little bit. So I would then go to an hour and 15-minute sit, because I want that little bit of challenge with each sitting. That's where a lot of our work happens. That's where our dedication, our rigor really comes out. How committed are we to this retreat? How committed are we to our own path of awakening and integration, of realization? So we want to watch for that. And on retreat, you want to minimize contact with others. This is part of the silence. So if you have a spouse or partner, try to negotiate in advance of the retreat how you're going to communicate, how you're going to do food, going on walks, silence, etc., so that you have some agreement. If you're doing it together, that's obviously supportive, but has its own challenges. You may have different needs. Yeah, but the main thing is to try to maintain that silence, maintain that rigor, to be sitting. And then it can be useful if your teacher will support solo retreats. You can set up interviews, short interviews over the course of the retreat. For me, I don't support solo retreats except for my most senior students, just because it's a big time commitment and energy commitment on my part. So I no longer can do it broadly, and particularly for people I'm unfamiliar with. So it's only for the experienced, sustained students that I'll offer that service. But the main thing is that it's a viable way to deepen your practice. It's understood in the Zen tradition for every week of meditation retreat we do, there's a belief that it advances your meditation the equivalent of 5 years of home sitting, meaning 1 or 2 sits a day for 5 years. So it really accelerates our practice. And I would say, from my own experience, that's true. I feel like every retreat I've been on has not only been life-changing, but it's definitely advanced my practice dramatically from before and after the retreat. Have fun, enjoy yourself, be well.